Hey guys, hi, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Steven, and welcome to Vlogmas Day 17. I know I said Day 17 yesterday, but I was delusional, so you shouldn't have listened to a word I said. I was wrong about the date. But today is the 17th. I just got back today, well, just got back, about 12 hours ago. I got back from a 3-day trip. I had an amazing crew, really, really great crew. It was me, Karina, I think her name is in the back as C, and then Kirsten as our lead flight attendant this month. Kirsten was fantastic. She's just really personable. And it turns out that her sister, Ebony, hi, watches my channel. So I'm super, super excited to have flown with her sister. And I do hear that you're looking to become a flight attendant as well. Good luck. Let me know if I can help. All right, so the day yesterday was just ridiculous. And, you know, the importance of having a crew that you can depend on, that you can communicate well with, is just so important on days like yesterday. But more so today. We flew from, where did we fly from? Atlanta to Houston, and then we flew from Houston to Vegas today. And both flights were fairly inconsequential. Nothing really happened until we were about 45 minutes away from landing in Las Vegas. I was position B on a 321, and if you've heard my past videos, you know that I'm sitting in row 11 in mid cabin. Well, in the first third of the cabin. And about 45 minutes into the flight, call bell went off, and I noticed it was right in front of me in row 10. So I got up and I went over and I said, "Hi, sir, how can I help?" And he said, it was an older gentleman, probably in his mid-60s, and he said, "Can I get some water, a glass of water, please?" And our first response is, that'll be $3. Because we do charge for water. But he was clearly not well. He had a peaked sort of look about him. So I asked, are you doing okay, sir? And he's like, "Yeah, I just need some water." So I ran up to the galley, got some water, brought it back. And in the time I had been gone, he went from being a little pale into being deathly white. I gave him the cup of water, and he tried to drink it, and it dribbled all over his shirt. And he went absolutely still, slack. If you've ever watched someone pass, if you've ever seen a grandparent die, an older person who's passed or in a casket, I mean, not charming, that absolute death mask where there's no wrinkles, he was totally smooth. It was like I was immediately, oh my God, crazy. And the good news here, two good things, is that he was fine in the end. But one of the best things about this experience was a reminder that when a medical strikes or something happens, your training from initial training snaps into action. And there's no shock or fear or what do I do? He was totally still. He sort of dropped the cup, ice went everywhere. And I stopped, looked at him, and I kind of tapped him on the cheek. I said, sir, are you okay?" And there's no response. Eyes wide open, just no response whatsoever. His face was totally slack. And I rang the call bell. My coworkers looked up, thank God, because, some people just go, "Oh, what's that? Is that a call bell? Oh, should I stop?" Whatever. They looked right up and they came right over to me when they saw me crouched down. And I said, "Come here, please contact the captain and and ask if we have any medical professional on board." And they did that. They made the announcement. I didn't even hear the announcement, but they made it because three medical professionals came up. I think we had 2 doctors and 1 nurse, I think. So we pulled out the EMK. I forget which one of us did that. I stayed with, I'll call him Bill because I don't want to use his name here. I stayed with Bill, tried to get some reaction from him and trying to talk to him. And I had my hand on his chest before the doctors showed up. I had my hand on his chest just to feel him breathing. and because there's just not an inch of space on that aircraft when our plane is totally full. I had my hand on his chest to see if he was breathing and if his heart was beating, and I could feel it was very quietly. And so, long story short, that period of time that he was sort of slack was about a minute and a half. It really passed fairly quickly, and the color came back to him as I was trying to talk to him. The doctor was trying to take his heart rate and all that stuff, so he started to come to. It wasn't a snap back to come to. He was just sort of gently waking up from it. And it turns out he had taken some medication. This has happened before because I asked. I have a MedLink form I was filling out. And one question is, this happened before? He said this has happened before on another legacy airline he had been on. So when he had taken this flight, he took half the dose of a medication he had taken in hopes that it wouldn't happen again. And this is what happened on half a dose. I don't dare think what happened to him before on the other flight. But it's a medication he takes to take care of restless leg syndrome. So on a long flight, he didn't want to be irritated by his legs moving around, unwillingly. So in the end, he was fine. He did not want oxygen, and he did not want a paramedic. We filled out the forms, and it was all good. He was, after he recovered from that instance, he was in very good spirits. He was very grateful for our attention. And he and I actually had a couple jokes. We had a couple laughs over how freaked out I was, and how concerned I was for him. And we talked about, VA hospitals and all sorts of stuff. But in the end, it was I hate to say a good experience, and it was a happy ending. Oh my goodness. And also a silver lining in that we all did our part as a team to take care of this guy, I'll say Bill. And so it was really scary. That one moment, recognizing that there's something bad about to happen, was really scary. And then, but that my training and our teamwork just snapped into action. It was really comforting. So knowing in the future, if I have another incident, when I do, because medicals happen all the time, we're ready for it. And I feel very confident that I was trained well by my company. So that's what happened this morning. Also, later on this morning, I noticed on Flicka, if you remember, I did a little video about how to bid for reserves. If I don't do it this month for Vlogmas, I might do it next month when I bid for my line. I'll show you how I bid for a line rather than reserve. But I was able to actually see what I was awarded for my bid. Guess who got their third choice? This one. Yay! So excited. Mind you, no one else wanted these trips. So it's not like I had like 24-hour Miami layovers, I am from Boston, and I was born in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Just don't tell anybody. But I consider Boston my home. I've been there for decades and decades and decades. And I miss Boston. I don't miss Boston in the winter, which might confuse you as to why I'm so excited about this, but I got a line. I missed Boston, and I want to go to museums in Boston that I miss. I want to see some sites that were formative for me, and I'd like to take you along. So when I have these layovers, I'm definitely going to go into the city, and I'll show you a couple of things that I think were really important for me. It'll be hard to decide what to show you because there's so much. But I'll give you a tour of some of my favorite parts of my hometown. But this trip, this line is kind of boring in a way. So it is pretty much the same trip. It's a 4-day trip that repeats every Thursday. And the first day of each of these trips is a red eye from Vegas to Boston. And it's a late show time. My report time is 8:55. So I get the whole day off before that to sleep, relax, whatever. And then I fly to Boston. We have a 24-hour layover there in a hotel I have not been to yet. I hear good things. And it's super easy to get into downtown Boston from our hotel. Let's see. Then the next day, so day 3 of these 4 days sucks. Sucks. There's a reason I got this line so easily. This is the same for each trip. Boston. Our show time is 6:10 a.m. We fly from Boston to Baltimore, Baltimore to Cancun, and then Cancun back to Baltimore. It's blocked exactly at 9 hours. Now, my airline, where we can be scheduled up to 9 hours. Our duty day, depending on if there's a sit, if there's a delay, whatever, our duty day can be up to 14 hours, 16 hours if it is if there's a weather condition or weather problem. But it's a long, long, long day. Boston, Baltimore, Cancun, Baltimore. Kill me. 4 times. And then the next day is super easy. Also, we're at 6:10 report time. The first trip, which is on the 3rd, I fly from Baltimore to Chicago and then Chicago to Vegas. The remainder of the month, that 4th day, is just Baltimore to Las Vegas. So the first day and the last day, super easy, 1 leg each, a fairly long leg, but easy. But that 3rd day on all these trips is just going to be hellish. The only silver lining is that I'm going to get lots of experience in terms of paperwork and all that stuff for international legs. I don't do many. I don't do any. I've done 1 Cancun leg, and I'm just not used to all the paperwork and all the little minutia. It's Cancun, so it's not like I'm going to Haiti or El Salvador. It's Cancun, so the paperwork isn't going to be devastated. But it'll just give me a little getting used to it. Down the road, way down the road, I want to potentially think about transferring to our Orlando base. We'll see what happens. I want to give it a year and a half, maybe even longer, because in my fantasy world, I would like to move back to the St. Pete, Tampa area, particularly St. Pete, because that area is just my favorite place in the country. I don't like the mosquitoes, but otherwise, I love that part of the country. So today started with 2 fairly easy legs, 1 terrifying medical. I got home, saw my lines, and then I got a text message from my friend David, who is also a subscriber. Hi, David. And thank you, David. Oh, my God. David texted me this morning, actually, and said, it asked if I was free this evening because he had a ticket to, he had a pair of tickets to go see Michael Jackson 1, which is a show at the Mirage on the Strip. And I love Michael Jackson's music. I always have. Most of my life has had the soundtrack of Michael Jackson. I love his music. I heard the show was pretty good. I had no intent on ever going because, I wasn't that big a fan of Michael Jackson. I love his music, but would I spend the money? I don't know, probably not, because I don't have a surplus of cash to go throwing at a show. I got groceries and a cat to take care of. Speaking of, Sophie, very nice of you. Thank you so much. Sophie gave me a gift, and it's much appreciated. It's also a little awkward for me, but it wasn't crazy, people. So it was just incredibly thoughtful, and thank you. But I wouldn't have spent the money to go to a show on the Strip. I've seen the Love show, the Beatles show. It was all right. After a while, it's just tumbling in the air. But this Michael Jackson show, I'm going to give you a quick review. of the Michael Jackson 1 show at the Mirage. Oh my God. I am changed. My life is different after seeing this show. I can't even tell you. There's no way to express. If you've ever seen Blue Man Group, if you've ever seen something like Blue Man Group, it's that level of awe from beginning to end. It was easily 2.5 hours non-stop. And you know, if you've seen Cirque du Soleil show, I've only seen the Love show. That's the only thing I've ever seen by Cirque du Soleil. At a certain point, it's a whole bunch of tumbling, there's music, there's costumes, and I start to get fatigued. That's probably sacrilegious to say. But after a while, I'm like, all right, yeah, wow, that's cool. But this show, the Michael Jackson 1 show, was mind-blowing. I mean, the acrobatic skill, the choreography, the costumes, the sheer physical ability of these people is just mind-bending. And I don't want to just say, oh, it was amazing. And they had one guy with one leg. I don't want that to be like the focus of my review. I mean, whatever. But the show was just so amazing. There was one dancer who was amazing. He had one leg. Yeah, a pair of crutches and one leg. And he was part of the show. And not in a, hey, look, we have a handicapped person in our show. He was one of the dancers. And it was just seamless and fluid. You just kind of noticed it and went, holy crap, look at him go, you know? And I was just amazed. So I'm shook, really. So I have to go back into my music and look for my Michael Jackson. I know I have a bunch because it's reinvigorated my attention and my appreciation for Michael Jackson's skill. But what a day. You know, in the past 16 days, how often have I said, oh, I had a great day. Vlogmas was amazing. Today was just beyond interesting. Starting with that medical and then finding out I got my third choice for my bid for a line. And then I got this opportunity to go to the show. Oh, so I went and looked up the price of how much this ticket would have cost. $201. Yeah, and it would have been worth it. If I had the money, it would have been worth it. I won't tell you what I want because someone out there is going to go, oh, really? You want that? Yeah, no. The ticket was like $201 or something. I went online and looked. Just crazy. And it would have been worth every penny. So if you're going to be in Vegas, I have to tell you, you need to go to see this show. It was off the chart. Off the chart. Oh, all right. Well, it is late now. I have to go to sleep like this, hopefully, because I have a 7:45 show at the airport, which means I have to leave. I want to leave here at 6:45 because I like to be in my crew room at least a half hour before my show time. Just in case something goes wrong, I have to charge my device, whatever. So I have to wake up fairly early. But tomorrow is just one leg from Vegas to Oakland. And then I'm going to be in Oakland really early in the morning. I want to hopefully maybe just take like a half-hour nap. Maybe not even that. I'm not going to take a nap at all because naps are not your friend. I'm just going to drop my bags, change into some cute kind of stylish clothes because it is San Francisco. And I'm probably going to wear that shawl that I wore the other day. And then I'm going to go into San Francisco for the day. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to see. I don't have any goals. It would be nice to see the Golden Gate, but I might save that for a day that's going to be warmer. It's only supposed to be about 60 tomorrow. So from the timer, I've been talking now for almost 20 minutes nonstop with hardly breathing, right? Thank you for watching. I do appreciate it. And happy Vlogmas. And boy, once again, if you can go to that show, so worth it. All right. Well, you guys have a good night or day or whatever, and I will talk to you later. Fly safe. Bye.